So today we're going to go ahead and show you a tool called Sweep. So if I just click on Create just enough to hover over it to see a description, and this tool Sweep. So Sweep basically sweeps a sketch profile, planar face, or solid body along a selected path. And if you look at those two images, the one on the left is what they started with, which if you notice there's a circle, which is a profile, sketch profile. And then there is this curved path, looks kind of like a sketch spline. And then to the right, it's the final result, which you take this circle and you, in essence, kind of extrude it, but while it's extruding, it follows a certain path, which is that spline. So let's get started. We're going to first go ahead and create a sketch. And in the sketch, we're going to create the path that we want it to follow. And in this example video, we're going to create a paperclip. So I'm going to click on this front plane. And it's really helpful. We are going to start our path on the origin. And you'll kind of see in the next step the reason for that. It really helps later on when you need to create additional sketches, especially ones that are in different planes that match up. So I'm going to go ahead and actually use this spline tool. Oh, actually, I'm going to use a line first, right? Because the paperclip, it starts and it goes straight. And then I'm going to actually go over to create, and I'm going to use this arc tool. I'm going to use a 3-point because it allows me to click on the end point. And then I'm going to click on an end point here. See that dashed line because I would like it to line up. And then I'm going to click on this tool right here. And if you notice on the left, that little circle with a line shows up in blue. If I move it off, it goes away. I want to actually have that icon there because that means that it will be tangent. So there'll be a smoother transition from line to arc or curved. Click to make that stay, and if you notice that tangent constraint comes up, I'm going to add another line starting at that end point of the arc. I'm going to go a little bit further this time, make sure it's horizontal, so I see that horizontal constraint blue icon show up. Click to make it stay, and then I'm going to go ahead and go back and use another arc 3-point. Click to start the arc. I'm going to make it a little bit shorter this time. Place the endpoint, and then I'm going to again adjust it. If you need more control, zoom in, and then you have a lot more control. And I'm going to move it until I see that tangent. There it is. So click to make that stay. I'm going to zoom out again, and then I'm going to use the line tool to then extend it one more time to about here. Okay. Now I'm going to go ahead and hit escape to kind of get out of that tool, and I'm going to actually click on Finish Sketch. Okay. Obviously, if we needed to, we would add dimensions for this activity. That's not our focus. I just want to focus on using the spline, the sweep tool. So now we need to create a circle sketch that's kind of perpendicular to this line. So I'm going to create a sketch, and now I'm going to create it on this bottom face. And if you notice, kind of our paperclip outline goes away, but it's still there. We're just looking at it from the top, so you just see it as a line. And in this case, I'm going to go ahead and create a circle profile, and you can create this, and I'm going to make it, I don't know, let's just say 0.1, and make that enter and stay. I'm also just going to go ahead and create, just so that you guys can see, I'm going to create a center point rectangle again because I want to center it, and I'm going to create it here. I'm going to zoom in a little bit. I'm doing that just so that you can see the difference, so I can actually select those two profiles so you can see what happens. So now I'm going to hit Finish Sketch, and I'm going to click on the home icon so you can kind of see what happened. So if you notice, there is, if I zoom in, at the bottom of this line and connected to the center of the circle and the rectangle is this line. Now we're gonna go ahead, if I zoom out to kind of see, click on the create, and we're gonna go ahead and use the sweep tool. And when I click on it, if you notice profile is selected blue, that means that we wanna click on the profile that we would like to sweep or follow the path. So I'm gonna zoom in. I'm gonna first click on the circle, but because I have two profiles and I want it to be solid like a paperclip, click on that outside, and I also need to click on the rectangle, okay? Now, I need to click on the path, so click on select and then zoom out so you make sure you select all the whole path. And if you notice, it follows the whole path. If I wanted it to be that circular path, and I can even do it now, click OK, that looks good, and there's your paperclip. Now let's say, just so that you guys could see it, I would like to go back into the sweep, so I'm gonna right click and hit edit feature, okay? And I'm gonna, if you notice profile still selected, I'm gonna clear that profile and I'm gonna go back in, and I'm only gonna click on the rectangle this time. And if you notice, if you can kind of see, it actually then pulls the square around. So it doesn't have to be a circle, it can be other shapes. Just know it has to be a closed shape, which is what they consider a profile, okay? You can also start to create twists, which is kind of cool. This is another feature I wanted to show you. Let's say we wanted it to kind of twist around like 15 degrees. And it looks like it might have a little bit of an issue with that. 15. What that should do is start to create a twist. Let's just see if the one angle helps, and hit tab. And it does show a little bit of one. Oops, here we go. Let's maybe do 45. And see if that adds a little twist in there. Yeah, you can kind of see it a little bit. It's adding a twist through the profile. So if I click OK, you can see that rectangle. It starts straight off and then it starts to kind of turn at an angle, and it keeps turning, so that at the end, this square has rotated or kind of spinned, if you want to call it, along the profile axis so that it doesn't line up anymore. So you can add a twist, which is kind of a cool feature. So go ahead, it's your turn to create your paperclip. You can use whatever profile you would like. Just make sure that it's a manageable size, because if your profile is too large and it makes these turns, you might have a conflict. Go ahead, have fun.